Israeli Defense Forces preparing for a massive ground invasion in the intensifying war against Hamas terrorists. Our next guest warns when it comes to collateral damage, Hamas doesn't care.
Our next guest knows all about fighting the war against terror firsthand. Former Navy SEAL, Team 3 Commander Jocko Willink joins us now. Jocko, thanks for being here. How do you fight against an enemy that doesn't care?
Well, you look at what Hamas's objectives were in this attack. They're not looking to further the two-state solution. No, all they want is just chaos and mayhem and death and hatred. And I think they've achieved that goal, and it's going to be a rough fight.
Jocko, what are the chances that we can get, or we or the Israeli hostage, military that are trying to rescue these hostages, what are the chances that they can actually get them in the middle of a situation like this?
This is a really tough scenario with these hostages. It is going to take the actual forces moving into Gaza and getting some control so they can gather some intelligence and make those attempts, but it is going to be extremely difficult. So
a practical question, Jocko. You got a situation where hostages are used as human shields. You're in rubble and an urban environment. And Pete, you brought this up earlier, but I guess have to assume the enemy is not wearing marked clothing. They're not in uniform. And battle. I mean, the battle lines are drawn in every direction. I mean, there's no front. I mean, how do you pick out the enemy and achieve an objective?
I think the advantage that Israel has here that they need to take advantage of is they have time, and they need to do this in a very slow, methodical way. Move through the city very slowly. There's going to be all kinds of dangers there, as you pointed out, booby traps, IEDs, snipers. It's going to be a real problem moving through there. So I think they need to move very slowly as they push into the city and try and do their best to keep themselves safe and keep the civilians that are there. The Palestinian civilians, these are like, they've been abandoned. Hamas doesn't care about them at all. And it's a real problem that it seems like the world thinks Hamas is in support of the Palestinian people. They're not. They don't care about the Palestinian people at all. The Israelis care more about the Palestinian people than Hamas does. And so Israel needs to move very slowly, very methodically through this area, and it's going to be a very tough fight.
Jocko, how much do tunnels complicate this? I mean, you're used to fighting urban warfare, but not when there are entire cities or at least neighborhoods underground that you're trying to clear as well.
Yeah, the tunnels are going to be a huge problem. The tunnels are not vulnerable at all to airstrikes. So really the airstrikes that Israel is doing at this point, I think they can kind of stand down from the airstrikes and move into the ground offensive, because these tunnels that are underground, the airstrikes aren't going to have any impact. They're going to have to go and clear those things. It's going to be dangerous work, but this is what has to be done after what Hamas did to Israel.
Do you suspect that they're going to hold off on any major attacks or this, imminent ground invasion until more of these civilians are cleared out? Because at this point, it looks like it's going not so rapidly in terms of evacuation. And also, you have the problem that on the Egypt side, they're saying they're not going to let anyone through.
Yeah, I think, like I said, Israel should take their time. I don't think they should rush. I think the more time they give the civilians to leave, the better. That being said, it sounds like Hamas is denying the opportunity for the civilians to leave anyways, because, as I said, the Hamas does not want a solution. They don't want peace. They don't want prosperity in that region. They want death. They want destruction, and that's what they're going to push for this whole time.
Lastly, Jocko, what do you think about America's involvement? I mean, if there's American hostages, is there going to be American operators at some point trying to retrieve American hostages?
If there's American hostages, there will be Americans going to do their best to save them.
Wow.
He knows what he's talking about. We'll see what that means, where and when it lays before us. Jocko Willink, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Jocko.
And everything you've done for our country.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.